special we are going to do today. We're going to polish the Balancestaff. Balancestaff you see here is a model, because this is the Balancestaff we are actually going to work on. Here we can see the double roller, which is extremely rusty. Well, here you can see the bottom pivot. Here is the replacement one, and here you can see the two pivots. So first what we will do is try to take off the very rusted double roller. There's over here a tiny hole in it, and if I tap it like this, you see I won't touch the balance wheel, and I just tap out the Balancestaff. I will tap just around there, and then the Balancestaff will leave the balance wheel. First we have to align these holes, otherwise we'll tap it, and when it's not aligned it will break immediately. The stake is perfectly aligned with the hole. So now the balance wheel is supported, and now if we give a gentle tap, and now you can see it's really important, there must be some space in between here, otherwise you just well, damage the balance wheel. Where's the hole? So here is the Balancestaff, the double roller, this one. So now we are going to put back together the balance wheel. You can imagine the Balancestaff is this one, right? Then we have the yellow line, that's the balance wheel, which you just showed. That rests on the widest bit. This bit here is the table. That's the widest bit of the Balancestaff. This bit here is where the balance wheel rests. This bit here is where the collet is, so where the hairspring is attached. And this is not cylindrical, but is a bit tapered. So this is where the double roller is the press fit, just underneath the table. I hope this makes sense. The pivot, obviously, the place for the double roller, that's the table, that's the place for the balance wheel, that's the place for the collet, and the pivot again. And you can see I draw it like this, and that's where the model doesn't have it. There's a small indentation here, and when we are going to rivet in a moment to this place here, those two tips, we are going to rivet like this, and that holds the balance wheel together, and then we can tap it again, and then we make it flat, and then it's perfectly riveted. And because we're going to rivet it, this bit of the balance wheel here, and the same here, will expand a bit, so we get a nice tight fit for the balance wheel. And that's why I had to tap it out, just to break this rivet, just a tiny bit. What we are going to do, the first stake with the flat going over here. So when the balance wheel will be there, it just goes past here and flatten the balance wheel. So it's nicely connected here. Then we'll get the rounded tip. We'll go just over here. So it goes just over this bit, and it will push this rivet out because it's rounded. Rounded. And then the next one will be the same hole size but straight, and then we just flat the rivet again. Visual check if these pivots are okay. And then I'm going to push it a bit, so I roll it around and see if the pivots are not going like this. What do you think of the condition of the pivots? I think they're still straight. This is a small edge we're going to rivet, this one here. So the balance rim is here on the table, and this tiny bit here we are going to rivet like this. This is not the actual riveting, but just making it nicely aligned and flat. And you just need the gentlest of taps. You can even hear it. You see it a tiny bit lowering, and now it's perfectly flat with the table. So now it's nice and flat. Now we are going to use the rounded tip just to make the rivet. And now you can see the tiniest air gap. So now it's resting on the two flanges, just there. And it's resting on the flanges, and it will push it out because it's a rounded stake. So you need the tiniest air gap between the stake and the balance wheel, the result. So now the actual riveting, and you'll probably see when I tap it, I twist either the stake or the item I am tapping. Because if it's not completely flat, you'll even it out when you twist and turn the stake or the object. And now we are going to flatten the rivet. And now we see no air gap between the table and the balance wheel. And now I'm holding the balance staff, and then we put some Rodico, just put a bit of Rodico on the pivot. And if we move the balance wheel, hey, that pixel, hi there. If we move the balance wheel, the outside, and the Rodico doesn't move, then we know it's too loose. Then the balance wheel will slip over the balance staff. But if the Rodico will move, then we have a proper joint between the balance wheel and the balance staff. Very simple. Well, there you go. Ah. Now we know we have a proper joint between the balance staff and the balance wheel. Ooh, could be worse. It is actually pretty good. As you can see, Arjan, to answer your question, this one is just about the same. You see? The balance wheel goes in between here, just about the same as the one it is in now. But there's a difference, and I love this tool. It's just so nice. Because where the pivot goes in here, it is, you see, there's a spring. So if the pivots are going in there, then you see the most extreme bit if it's wobbly, and if it goes to the most extreme, then you can close these and only hold the balance wheel, so there's no stress on the pivots. And then you can use this bit to manipulate and push the wheel in place without stressing the pivots. True poise. I really do love this tool. All of you, thank you so much for watching.